It is a period of Star Wars mania, as new movies, comic books, novels, and TV shows populate the system. Fueled by their love and passion for the galaxy far, far away, two exceptional geeks tap into hundreds of holocrons in order to bring you the knowledge and insight of all things Star Wars. Come and join them as they go inside the Force.
Welcome back, everybody, to Inside the Force. I am David Cottingham here with Casey Cooley.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome back as we explore the galaxy far, far away in our final episode of Sith Month here in September.
You were going to say final episode of the show.
No way. What? You kidding me? This is only episode 27. We got so much.
Over half a year of this.
That's right.
Dang.
We got Rebels next year to talk about. Episode
next month,
7 to talk. Well, next month, I guess they're showing some stuff. But I'm saying next year
when
the show comes out.
Yeah. Jeez. Ever since this merger has been the best thing that ever happened.
That's right.
This Lucasfilm Disney merger.
It will be. Absolutely. Once we start getting some real news.
Yeah, because all I got through you guys there is more rumors.
I know. More rumors. But we got some good stuff to talk about today, as well as finish up Sith Month, which means leading up to the Darth Vader era. Before him, though, was Darth Tyranus, who, as you know from the movies, is actually Count Dooku, a former Jedi. So, quick recap. The last 3 weeks, we've started with a Sith lineage from Darth Plagueis, who was Hugo Damask, born Hugo Damask. He was the one that kind of carried on and was using the political scheme to get into the Republic. Recruited a young man named Palpatine, who ends up becoming Darth Sidious, his apprentice, who ends up killing him and becoming the master while recruiting and training his apprentice, Darth Maul. And then Darth Maul ultimately is killed by Obi-Wan, actually, after fighting Qui-Gon and killing him, but is defeated, not killed, I would say, cut in half, because he ends up surviving.
Yeah.
But he is cut in half by Obi-Wan Kenobi. And so at this point, basically what I've done is summarize the last 3 weeks. We did Darth Plagueis, we did Darth Sidious, and Darth Maul. Now the next one in line, Darth Tyranus. And he was... So basically, after Maul was killed, Sidious was left without an apprentice.
Yeah.
Because I still think it's mind-blowing that, during episode 1, there's basically 3 Sith.
Yeah.
Everybody's thinking there's a master and an apprentice, that's it.
Yeah.
As we illustrated, Plagueis was still alive at that point. Mm-hmm. Maul was not technically an apprentice. He was kind of the assassin.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until the night before the election that Sidious killed Plagueis, but at that point, Maul had been killed.
Yeah.
So he's left. But as we get into now with Count Dooku, we will find out that it's not long after that he ends up getting his new apprentice. But a little foreshadow thing here too. It's actually neat that even by recruiting Count Dooku, he had already met Anakin.
Yeah,
and he knew, he had foresight a little bit that this kid could be.
Yeah, he's the chosen one.
He's the chosen one.
So basically, Dooku is just an interim apprentice.
Correct. And he's old.
Yeah, he's. Was he old? Is he older than Palpatine?
Yes, I think he is.
Weird.
Because he's born in 102 BBY.
Yeah.
And I think Palpatine was like, was it 50 or something like that? 60 or something?
Yeah, I think he's like. So 102, he's like 70, he's 70, episode 1.
Who is? Dooku is, 70, absolutely, yeah. So, actually, I was pulling it up. 82 BBYs so he's 20 years older than Palpatine. So 102 BBY on the homeworld of Sereno. Now, Sereno, because Dooku comes from a very, very, he's a count, so it's a very wealthy family, noble family, on Sereno. I figured Sereno was located in the core worlds with all the other planets like Coruscant and
Yeah.
Alderaan, but actually it's in the Outer Rims with where Tatooine and all that stuff is, Naboo somewhat, but Sereno is where he was born. His family, big family of counts there. So he was obviously in line. He was heir to the entire wealth and title. So Dooku, like all young Jedis, was recruited by the Jedis at a very, very young age after he was noticed as being Force sensitive, trained under Master Yoda as a swordsman mainly, as hinted at in Episode 2 when they're fighting. Gains a Padawan at a very, very young age.
Yeah.
22 years old, he starts training Qui-Gon Jinn.
Which means I'm behind.
You are.
It's basically me with a Padawan.
Yes. So he's training Qui-Gon. And I do want to say when he was younger, in his young age, like I think it was like I guess around 9 or so, there was like there's a 12 contest, like what they call a push contest, a push tournament, where it was he was very strong at telekinesis, and he was able to do all that and won the tournament as a 9-year-old, which is very, very rare at the time. So he was very skilled, knew everything he was doing, but in his teenage years he befriended another Jedi. His name escapes me right now, but
Nod, that was the one that he had problems with.
Yes,
yeah,
Nod. So this is where it kind of, I think the seeds of the betrayal started, because Nod would, use him in a sense. He would ask Dooku to cover him in certain instances. Nod even betrayed him by accusing him. I think of stealing something. Something
there was a holocron.
Yes, right. Yes, a holocron was taken.
Yeah, I think it was actually the Sith holocron.
It was the Sith holocron.
Yeah,
yes,
from the Jedi archives.
Right, and he blamed it on Dooku.
Yeah,
and Dooku, just being shocked, didn't say anything until much later when it was revealed, and then Nod eventually was released from the Order. Was basically kicked out of the Order. Now that doesn't count as part of the 20.
No,
I think, right?
no.
20 is them leaving
voluntarily.
Voluntarily.
Yeah.
So Nod was just asked to leave the Order, and so Dooku went on, with that sense of betrayal. He obviously stuck with him for a while. So obviously he grows and becomes very close friends too with Jedi's Master Mace Windu, and a name that is not known as well, but it's a very important name, and that is Master Sifo Dyas.
Right.
Which a lot of people don't really know about, because I think in the end, I think I read this too, that there was supposed to be a much bigger and detailed explanation in Episode 3 on who Sifo Dyas actually is. Yeah. Because people, I think, started... I even read forums where people started claiming that Sifo Dyas was just a cover.
That's what I always thought.
There's no real guy named Sifo Dyas.
Yeah, when I first saw the movies.
But there is.
Yeah.
There was a true Jedi Master on the council named Sifo Dyas, and we'll talk a little bit about him briefly. But at first, eventually, which Casey will talk about, a very important run-in with a very particular person at one point. So, so that's the skirmish of Galderon.
Yes.
What happened there, Casey?
Okay. It's actually Galadran.
Galadran, okay, yeah.
Well, because Dooku was such a great Jedi Knight, actually being... Well, he's a Jedi Master, actually. And even being offered a position on the council a couple times, turned it down, wanted to just be the... guy in the field. So these are just one of his missions where he partook. It was a mission to Galadran, where the governor of this planet, which I didn't even look up where this planet is, which I guess it's not necessarily relevant. It's also in the Outer Rim territories.
Yeah, it's got to be by Mandalore, I think.
Yeah, because Galadrian, the governor of Galadrian, was having some problems with local insurgency that was apparently fighting against him. So he says, and he hires Jango Fett, who's the guy we were alluding to. Jango Fett. He hires Jango Fett and his followers, who are called the True Mandalorians, because Jango Fett is a Mandalorian and from Mandalore. And so the governor hires Jango Fett and his followers, the True Mandalorians, to protect him from these insurgents. And Jango Fett agreed to destroy these whatever we call them, these enemies of the governor of Galadrian. Fett agrees to destroy them in exchange for the location of his own enemy, Vizsla, the leader of the Mandalorian kind of faction, Death Watch, which you all should know from the Clone Wars.
Absolutely.
Now, I don't think this is the exact same Vizsla from the Clone Wars, because there's a family of Vizslas, I believe, right? And there's 2 Vizslas at least.
Oh, really?
There's Tor Vizsla, who we're talking about here, I believe. Pre-Vizsla is the one from the Clone Wars.
Oh, they're not related?
No, they're related, but they're different people. Tor Vizsla,
right,
Pre-Vizsla.
Yeah. This is years before.
Yeah, so Pre-Vizsla is the character from the Clone Wars, voiced by Jon Favreau, all that stuff. So this is Tor Vizsla, I'm pretty sure, who we're talking about here. Vizsla. So Vizsla, the leader of Death Watch, this is who Fett wants to get rid of. So there is a kind of backstabbing going on here, where the governor of Galadrian is creating this idea of local insurgencies that are fighting against them. This is fake. All he wants to do, he's actually in control, or he's in working dealings with Vizsla of Death Watch. The governor is. They are working together to basically get rid of Jango Fett and the True Mandalorians. So this is what the governor does. He told Jango Fett, go out there and find these guys and kill them, just to kind of get them close and get them around. Well, at the same time, the governor is telling the Jedi, hey, there are these Mandalorians causing a ruckus, destroying, killing political dissidents on my planet. I need you to come in and stop them. So the Jedi are trying to look into it, while Death Watch, now stay with me, everybody. Death Watch, they are posing as Jango Fett's people and killing non-combatants and political dissidents to make the Jedi believe that this is in fact Jango, to give them evidence to come and clean house. So the Jedi think the Jedi come thinking that they're that Jango is doing all this stuff when it's in fact Death Watch. So the Jedi it's like about 20 task force led by Count Dooku. They come to Galadrian to stop Jango Fett and the Mandalorians, and there is a huge battle that ensues between the two parties. Many casualties on both sides. Actually, a lot of Jedi die, and a lot of Mandalorians die. Jango Fett, however, lives. I think he actually gets arrested because of this, and it doesn't even the true workings in this dealing and the true workings in this plot doesn't actually come to surface until much later. So it's not until much later where Dooku realizes that he'd been had. That's right. By the governor of Galadrian, and this he actually goes and makes inquiries and tries to figure out go to the bottom of this, to kind of, because his pride has been hurt basically, so he wants to be sure to fix this problem. But basically the big point of this whole event is that once again Count Dooku has been betrayed, and his faith in not just the Jedi, but in people in general, and friendships and relationships, partnerships, all that stuff. His faith in that's been shattered, furthering distancing himself with basically loyalty to people in general. His compassion towards people is just constantly being shattered. Right. So that's what the Galadrian, the whole event on Galadrian is. It's this big misunderstanding, a big plot against the Mandalorians that Count Dooku just so happened to be a part of.
Which is ultimately what happens to the Republic.
Yeah.
It's about the same thing.
Yeah.
The man that's head is apparently getting as in Chancellor Palpatine, the guy getting overrun by separatists is actually the one behind it all, just like the governor was.
Yeah.
And it's actually where he learns the truth from Jango Fett years later.
Yes, yeah.
When he recruits him. So
yeah, because this sparked an interest. Like, although Dooku fought Jango, he was like, "What?" Not something like, "Hey, this guy's a good warrior."
Oh yeah, that's where he sees it.
I want to
yes.
keep him in mind.
Okay, I know this isn't Star Wars related.
Oh,
but
okay, got some news.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Have you seen this yet?
No, I haven't. I've been checking anything. What's up?
Because we're huge DC fans.
Yeah.
Batman.
Yeah.
Commissioner Gordon is getting his own TV series.
Oh my gosh.
Batman's Commissioner Gordon getting Fox TV series. On the same night, Marvel launches Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Fox? What? What does it say? Sorry, guys. We got to talk about this.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, let me see. Where are you reading it from?
I saw a tweet from one of our followers. On the same night, Marvel launched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and revealed that DC is making another big step in TV, with Commissioner Gordon getting his own live-action series.
Yeah, IGN is. Yeah.
Following a bidding war, the Warner Brothers produced TV series called Gotham has ended up at Fox. Following a bidding war, wow. Showing what a big deal Gotham is, it's been given a direct-to-series order, bypassing the pilot stage. We'll launch 2014-2015 TV season, so next season. Gotham will take place before Gordon meets Batman. Oh, so it's called Gotham, it looks like.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
See, that's interesting because they've been wanting to do a kind of a Gotham show for a while.
Yeah, this is. I've always said this is a great idea. We've actually mentioned this.
Yeah, this has always been. Yeah,
that you don't even ever have to. Honestly, I would. This would actually be good with Batman even in it, and just not part of the. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's in the shadows. Like I always thought that a great TV show would be about either the police force or about the villains.
Yeah.
And Batman be in the shadows as if you were, you were just an audience member almost. Like
the way it honestly talks about here, it kind of leads itself to maybe before Batman even came to be.
It is. It's
Gary
a
Oldman,
young detective James Gordon.
Yeah, it's like Gary Oldman. Yeah.
And the villains that made Gotham famous.
Yeah, so that'd be good seeing a Gordon rising through the ranks.
That's right.
And
before he meets Batman, who will not be part of the series.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
So, honestly, could this be the Gordon that ends up in
Justice League?
Justice League.
That would make a lot. Okay. If it is, then this needs to be taking place in the past. Because if Batman's already seasoned and already been around for a
that's
while.
what it says. I mean, it says before he meets Batman, and a young Gordon, Detective Gordon, so he's got to probably be early 30s or so.
So this show
maybe?
should take place in the 90s, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Early 90s.
Well,
yeah.
I guess I don't know. You know what would be cool is if they actually connected it with Arrow somehow.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
If TV had its own TV universe, and the movies had their own universe, you know what I mean? I think that would be the way to go. Somehow they may, you never know, they may connect this with, and plus because they're doing a Flash TV show as well. Right. So
that's cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you could do just about anything. I mean, it can honestly be like a Dark Knight where it's more just like a crime drama than a superhero comic book show.
Yes.
Because it's just, if it's just
it's right.
the GCPD.
It's basically the CSI kind of stuff.
And if it's just,
but darker, and maybe get some villains in there.
That'd be cool.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
That's going to be awesome. All right. So back to Star Wars.
Back to action. All right.
Tune into In the Comics. We'll talk about that this week, I'm sure. Okay. This Friday. Okay, so leading in after all this, this leads us to right before Dooku leaves the Order, almost, or it's not right before, but it contributes to him leaving the Order. Shortly, now there's several things that happened before leading the Order that are very important, and one is, I think it was 52 BBY, which was about 20 years before Episode 1. Dooku made a trip out to an Outer Rim, actually his homeworld, Sereno, with Jocasta Nu, who ends up being the archive librarian.
Right.
Sifo-Dyas and his old apprentice, his old Padawan, Qui-Gon Jinn. And it is there that he actually meets, for a dispute going on, he actually meets Higo Damask. Mm-hmm. And that is when actually Higo Damask kind of knew that Dooku had those feelings, those distrust feelings, that he wasn't sure of the Jedis and the Republic. And he actually foresaw that maybe he could be a replacement for Palpatine.
Yeah.
These guys are always cunning.
Dying off. Because he thought Palpatine is getting too loose. And
too political, in a sense, yes.
Get himself killed or something, or outed.
Yes.
So it's maybe
this will replace him, and whatnot. So this is 20 years before Episode 1. So they both saw it, and then Palpatine saw it very, very early, too, that Dooku had questions and concerns. He even mentioned at some point, to Palpatine about the Sith way, even though he didn't even know Palpatine was a Sith at the time. So the groundwork was laid many, many years before he actually turned. So basically that leads to the ultimate last straw, which is finding out about the death of his former Padawan, Qui-Gon, at the hands of Darth Maul, who was known as a Sith. He was revealed as a Sith, and realized the Jedi now realizing that what they thought for 1,000 years that the Sith were extinct, they were not. So they knew there was two of them out there. One had been killed here. So they didn't know who Sidious was, obviously, but they knew something was up. So Dooku leaves the Jedi Order, and he leaves in a sense of just retiring.
Yeah.
I'm done with all this. I'm retiring. I'm going back to my home world. He's a rich, he inherits the throne there. He's ungodly wealthy and powerful. And ultimately, he becomes what is called the Lost 20, part of the Lost 20. Now, there was a deleted scene in Episode 2. Yeah, you're right. Episode 2, where Obi-Wan is talking to Jocasta Nu.
Yeah.
And she kind of explains the Lost 20 to him. There's that scene. It's really cut weird, actually, because they cut it out. It's like a jump cut almost, where he's standing there looking at the statue of Count Dooku.
Yeah.
And she comes up and says, something like, is there something I can help you with? And then all of a sudden it cuts close, and she's like, are you having a problem, Mr. Kenobi? You know what I mean? Like there was a whole conversation there that we missed, and we did, because she goes on and talks about Count Dooku being one of the Lost 20, which means, like we said earlier, they are the ones that voluntarily left.
And they're just pointing out they're actual Jedi Masters that leave, because I was thinking when we were talking about it, like Ahsoka Tano left the Jedi Order,
yeah, you're right.
But she's not counted because she wasn't a Jedi Master.
Okay,
so it's just Masters.
So Jedi Masters that have left. So that technically Anakin wouldn't count either.
Well, Episode 3, he was a Master. Oh, that's right. He wasn't granted.
He wasn't granted from the Council Master.
But he considers himself part of the 21st.
He considers himself,
but he's not.
Yeah. Because remember, Mace said you are part of the Council, but you're not a Master.
Yeah.
We do not grant you the rank of Master. Yeah. So he's a Master Sith.
Oh, there you go.
Anyway, so part of the Lost 20, he is at that point the 20th Master to leave the Order. So it's then shortly after that he is approached by Palpatine, because at this point, like we said, Palpatine's alone. He doesn't have an apprentice, right? Maul's dead. He had killed Plagueis, so he's looking for a replacement until Anakin grows older, because he's kind of eyeing Anakin already at that point. But he starts talking to Dooku and reveals to him about being a Sith, and right away. I mean, I don't. It doesn't even take much.
Not much convincing.
He he knew that was better than what was out there. I think, And I think, I think he talked about how he had heard of Newt Gunray and the Trade Federation being in league with this Darth Sidious, not knowing that they were the same person. But obviously once that was revealed to him, he was already filled with so much doubt and hate and all that stuff. So it was easy to convince him. So once he turned, which obviously then he is granted the name of Darth Tyranus.
Yeah.
That's when everything really kicks off. And what we mean by that is that at the time, with episode 1 happening, the Sith are revealed. The Jedi know that their enemy is back. There's systems leaving for no reason. The Republic. It's starting. The Jedi, especially Sifo-Dyas, started to see that there's a dark time coming. We're going to need some help. So against the Jedi Council, in secret, Sifo-Dyas goes and orders this orders a clone army on Kamino.
Right.
Now, there wasn't a template at the time. He just ordered it, saying, we need clones. Well, then shortly after, one of the first tasks after briefly training or teaching Dooku, not really training, he's already kind of trained, but one of his tasks is to kill Master Sifo-Dyas, his friend. And Dooku does this. He goes, kills Master Sifo-Dyas, actually freezes him, and takes him to his homeworld, the Serena. Yeah. And this is all in a comic. This all took place in a comic book. That's why a lot of people don't really know if Sifo-Dyas was real or not. But this ended up being part of a comic book series, and so he is dead. He's in a capsule on Sereno. I think we might get into this later, maybe at some point. But for some reason, I think I read it a long time ago that he kept him frozen because he was studying him. Yeah, in a sense, right?
Well, I guess studying the midichlorians and the blood and all
that.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that was it. So now that he's in charge of this, so he's basically posing as Sifo-Dyas to the Kaminoans. Yeah. And now he's got to provide a template. So his next task is to find that template. And he remembers, because of the battle of Galadron.
Galadron.
That, well, actually, not just that, but he knew of Jango Fett, obviously, there. Yeah. But what he does is he puts a bounty on somebody. Yeah.
A friend.
Was it a friend?
An old apprentice, actually.
Oh, was it? It was that guy.
It's female, I think.
Yeah, it was one of his female apprentices. Yes.
Star Wars name.
And he puts a bounty on it. I think it was a big bounty, like a $5 million bounty.
Something like that, yeah.
And so all these bounty hunters are basically going after this former Jedi. Yeah. And they're killing each other and fighting, and Jango Fett obviously emerges as the winner almost, in a sense, not knowing that Tyrannus has been watching this whole time, stops him from killing her, right, I think, and then kills her himself. Yeah. And then offers Jango this job of being the template. Jango says, obviously, what we know. I want an unaltered clone, and I think we had talked about maybe the time frame. I think Boba's like 8 or 9 at least, probably by that point. So by episode 2. So anyway, that is really everything we know of then is, and here's the thing: is we don't know that much between episodes 2 and 3. There hasn't been a lot of books and stuff in between because there's 10 years there.
Yeah, there's
some with
one and
there's
two.
Some with,
you mean 1 and 2?
I mean, I'm sorry, 1 and 2. There's some there of Anakin's training.
Yeah, there's a lot of junior novels.
Correct.
There's a lot of those,
but there's not a lot of the Sith side,
right?
Of Tyrannus and Sidious and all this stuff, and Jango, because Jango's been there on Kamino for 10 years. It seems like because not only is the template, but he's also training them in I guess at some points. Well, it says here he's like recruited as the template and to train. Yeah. So that's why the clones are so skilled. Yeah. So anyway, that's Darth Tyranus. Obviously we know from him that he ends up getting his head chopped off in episode 3.
And his hands.
And his hands. That's right.
Yeah.
By Anakin, who ends up being Darth Vader, the final Sith in this lineage.
Yeah.
Maybe one day we will do Darth Vader, but that's
maybe.
But everything you know is pretty much the movies.
Yeah. I just want one quick interesting thing, because we talked about before Dagobah. We mentioned Dagobah,
Right.
how it was erased. It's part of 35 other systems that were erased. Dooku was the one who erased it all.
Yep.
Which I didn't know.
Including Camino.
Yeah, because I knew he did Camino from episode 2. I didn't know he did all 35 of those unknown systems, those lost systems.
Yes.
So it doesn't say why he did all of those, because he did that in addition to some other secret like hyperspace routes to Deep Core.
Yes.
So it's all for, I guess, Palpatine, all for the Sith cause.
Yes.
But yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know he was the one who actually erased Dagobah.
Yeah, that's interesting, because Dagobah, that explains why Dagobah was never explored.
Yeah.
Whenever Yoda went into hiding, they never went there to look for him or anything. So, very cool. Very cool. So, yeah, Darth Tyranus and Darth Sidious, worked together for 10 years building this separatist. Obviously, he becomes leader of the separatist movement, starts getting all these systems to disband from the Republic, causing the start of the Clone Wars, which is the separatists against the Republic. Very, I got to say, a lot of people aren't thrilled with the prequels. And that might be an understatement.
Yeah.
But I, for one, I got to say, I enjoyed the political side of the manipulation. You know what I mean? Like, it could easily have been, it could have been as simple as Tyrannus recruiting Jango, building this clone army for the Sith, and fight against the Republic and the Jedis. You know what I mean? Like, it could have been that easy. But, the thing about the Sith is it's all about manipulation. It's all about being behind the scenes. And so this whole time, everybody's thinking, man, these separatists are just leaving because they don't like the Republic, but they're being forced to. And it's just so much deceit going on. It is so good. And I think the plan, and this is a plan, and I'm assuming, and I think it was Palpatine's, right? It was pretty much Palpatine's plan. I mean, Plagueis, I know, was
the whole
it, the whole political side of it.
Yeah.
But Palpatine was the political one. He's the one that stepped up and said, we need to do this from the government side. But they've been ducking and hiding for 1,000 years, and this is, and the way they came out, man, it really is, to me, is good storytelling.
Yeah.
So, I like the prequels, damn it.
I like it. Come on. What's so bad about it?
Yeah, what's so bad
and Jar Jar is not your one excuse for being bad.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Everybody talks about the dialogue and Hayden Christensen. Oh, well.
Star
Wars.
So that will wrap up our profiling for Sith Month. Like I said, go back this month and check out Darth Plagueis if you haven't already, Darth Sidious, Darth Maul, and we had just wrapped up Darth Tyrannus. So on to some news. What we got in the new world of news?
A lot of rumors, but still some interesting things. Now, we had talked about Star Wars Detours on the show and how we are sad to see it be canceled, but it actually might not be canceled.
Really?
Really.
Well, I haven't heard this. Seth
Green had answered some online questions about Detours, and here's just I'll highlight some things that he said. He says, first thing he says, Detours is just on hold currently. That's a quote. He says, there's been a lot of talk about it, but it's on hold. But they have 39 finished episodes and around 62 finished scripts. So the entire show was created before this, the talk of more Star Wars movies and all that, which we thought was, obvious because, we thought, that's why it was canceled.
We didn't know there was ever going to be any Star Wars movies.
But, so they did the show before the merger even happened, and so since then they've had a lot of conversations with Kathleen Kennedy about Star Wars. The indefinite future of Star Wars. With Seth Green and these guys, and they are basically put in a kind of a same but now maybe a better position than what they were before. Where now I guess they're holding on to Detours right around the time when the movies come out, maybe after the movies. But basically, their new kind of role, I guess, with Lucasfilm is they're going to be kind of introducing Star Wars to the next young generation, like the little kid age, I guess, generation, whatever. It just says here. Trying to skim through this. Like Seth Green talks about how the first time he saw Darth Vader, he was really scared of him. It was a really scary image, when Seth Green was a little child. So, it didn't make any sense of that, whatever. But so that's why they're doing detours. They're waiting to kind of polish it and waiting for the right time to premiere detours to the new generation to kind of, I guess, ease the new generation into Star Wars, I suppose, before the movies come out, around the time the movies come out. I don't know. He's kind of whatever iffy on the explanation why they put Detours on hold, but that's the most important thing is that Detours is currently on hold, not canceled. They have about 40 episodes finished, so there is we will see it eventually.
Well, I sure do hope so, honestly, because we were one of the lucky ones that saw the actual footage the first time.
Yeah.
At Star Wars Celebration 5 or 6.
We saw it this past one. So it was
6.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, it looks great.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks great. It's funny. The animation is spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it comes out, even if it's direct to disc.
Which that sounds like it will be. Sounds like it's
gonna be aired. Yeah.
So the impression is like they're basically using this as kids' first introduction to the Star Wars universe.
That's good.
So that's that. That's starting off something cool there. You guys, I wish they would bring up those clips back up so everybody can go take a look at them because it's funny stuff.
So that's gonna be perfect for my daughter.
Yeah.
For Sam.
Yeah. So let's go with some Star Wars Episode 7 rumors. Just breeze right through these because they're rumors. And a lot of these come from Latino Review. I think this is from someone else, though. I think this is from Bleeding Cool. But it's actually part of Latino Review. So Episode 7 might be shooting in New Mexico.
Yep.
That's one of the things that they've been talking about. Some other actors that have read for the role. I cannot ever remember how to say her first name. Cyrus Ronan, the chick who was she's co-starred in Atonement. She was in Hannah. She was
I know what you're talking about.
What's her face? Whatever. She was a little girl in Atonement. She's apparently read for being considered for a part in Episode 7. I guess assuming this is for the unofficial solo twin role that hopefully, I mean, she's a great actress. I would, I think it'd be really good because she's pretty strong actress. And the same report that has said that this actress has read for the role says that Benedict Cumberbatch basically is in Star Wars, and he will be a role in all 3 movies. It's just it's basically just going further with that rumor. So basically saying, when people being coy, lying, they're basically lying and saying like he's not in it, but really he is in it. Anyways, kind of moving forward with some more Episode 7 stuff. 2 other actors in a separate report that have read for roles. It says another hard name to pronounce, David Oyelowo, who is an actor in Red Tails, Link and the Butler, and he's actually in Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Yes, as the Doctor.
Yes, who got smoked. He apparently read for a role, and so did Michael B. Jordan, who was in The Wire and Friday Night Lights. Both read for roles in Episode 7. And so...
Well, I mean, I'm reading here. It seems like he may have been casted.
Yes, that's what I was going to... Yeah,
in Episode 7 and Star Wars Rebels.
Yes. Yeah, I was going to say, because another report piggybacking on this one, says David Oyelowo, if I'm saying that right, has been cast in Episode 7 and Star Wars Rebels, which that's weird.
Is it the same role?
It'd have to be the same role, right?
Well, that's a long time.
Yeah, I mean,
Rebels is like
maybe a younger
years.
version of himself.
Maybe
it's his father. I don't know, his own father.
Yeah.
Rumors. I'm getting sick and tired, and a lot of these are coming from Latino review, which I don't know if this one did or not, but no, this one came from Jedi News. The one about him being casted, that's from Jedi News. The other ones are from Latino Review. So there's that. And another episode 7 casting rumor is apparently there's a casting call out for a tall 7 to 7.3 foot man, slim, broad shoulders. That basically they're saying that this is going to be a replacement for Chewbacca. That's what the rumor is. That's an assumption. A replacement for Peter Mayhew, I guess, because apparently he has surgery on his knee and he can't very well do all the Chewbacca.
Well, right now
stunts.
he can't even walk.
Yeah.
So he's having knee replacements, and I'm assuming it's to walk to be Chewbacca. But I guess they might be looking to replace him. I don't know.
Because you could be running around a lot, doing a lot of stuff.
he won't be rehabbed probably by then. So unfortunately, we may have to have another Chewbacca.
Nah, I mean, I'm sorry, but yeah, I will let this. I want him to be a part of it somehow. That'd be really cool. Anyways, maybe it's Chewbacca's son. Maybe they can do that. I don't know.
What? Wouldn't he be old anyway? Chewbacca?
I don't know how long Wookiees live. He was already really old, like 100 or so years, right?
Was he?
Or I think it's something like that. I have to look it up. Maybe we could profile Wookiees.
Maybe we could profile Wookiees.
Because I know Chewbacca is like super old.
Okay. Well, see, they could just put Chewbacca in a wheelchair and then Peter's set.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, in Han Solo, all these guys should be in wheelchairs.
Yeah.
All right, and some more rumors for Rebels again. Some auditioning. Freddie Prinze Jr. Vanessa Marshall, who I'm not familiar with her. I don't think. Doesn't say what she's been in. I didn't look her up.
What has Freddie Prinze Jr. been doing?
I don't know. Watching Scooby-Doo.
I know he's been a father. I know, he's married. He's married to Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad they're still married.
Yeah, they're a pretty good couple. They I know they might have 1 or 2 kids.
Yeah. I don't know what he's been doing.
I really don't know what he's been doing.
And some other actors. Yeah,
he had his own TV show there for a while.
I was thinking something like that.
But yeah.
Apparently, those 2 actresses, including David Oyelowo and Taylor Gray and Stephen J. Bloom, these actors have all been or in the process of being cast as voice leads for the series, which will be making its debut fall next year. So that's basically the rumor for that, and just some other kind of thing to throw in there. Angry Birds Star Wars 2 is now available if you are a fan of those games, which I am. And I want to get the second one. So Angry Birds Star Wars 2, go download it and buy it. And that is all I have to say about all this stuff.
Okay, but...
one big thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I don't know how to classify this as news or whatever, but there is a really cool development, and I cannot remember where I read this. I tweeted the link to you. I texted the link to you.
Yeah.
But they've basically been toying around with, because the whole 1313 thing, the video game Star Wars 1313 that was based off the level 1313 of Coruscant, has since been canceled, and so I'm looking, and this has been reported in /film.com. They're still using, I guess this was technology that was going to be used in the game. Was that right? Like this kind of thing that we're about to talk about?
I think it was 1313, yeah.
So basically, but now they're talking about using it for movies.
Yeah.
And what it is, if you know about anything about video games, how they capture the effects and create the digital effects is they put the actors, stunts, whoever, in these motion capture suits. Basically just a jumpsuit with little dots on them or ping pongs on them or whatever. To capture the realistic motions of a character, and then it takes months and months to create these digital effects and to make it look like we see in video games. But now it seems like they're able to create these amazing digital effects for video games while using the same method of capturing it with these motion capture suits. Now they're able to, within seconds, like live, like real time, they are able to create those realistic digital effects and those CG. That CG, basically. But see, I'm saying CG, but it looks real. This footage looks
but it is
real.
CG.
It's CG.
Computer.
It's all fake, but
you can tell and maybe because it's in order to have it real time, it doesn't look as detailed, but. There's some detail to it that I'm sure that has to be worked on. But
so here's kind of a quote. I'll just quote it and stop fumbling around with words, I guess. Basically, these video game companies are using video game engine and game assets, basically just video game technology, to flesh out footage, in quotes, because this is, basically footage with using motion capture technology. Footage shot with live actors in real-time motion capture suits. And they are using this technology to render effects in real time at 24 frames per second, which is the norm for movies, for motion pictures. And basically it's showing Lucasfilm and ILM, Industrial Light and Magic, what the possibilities of CG for movies can be. So, like movies like Avatar, which we talked about before, that's kind of how they did Avatar. They did motion capture suits. They did, they dots all over the actors' faces, and they shot, very detailed, very time-consuming process to get the amazing digital effects that we saw in the movie. But it took months and months to complete those effects. Mm-hmm. Now you can get the same effects real time, and just, in moments you can get this instead of months.
Yeah. Obviously, maybe there was still some render time in it, obviously.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're seeing it real time is, because in Avatar, you can only see the motion capture in the computer, like the
gray, whatever.
The framework.
Yeah.
That they have to overlay the look of the avatar on there. And, this was, or whatever the species was on there, I can't remember.
Well, they showed the clip that you can go see on Slash Film when they talk about it. They show footage of actors in the motion capture suits, and then live
they
feeds
dissolve it into the...
like C-3PO
yes.
and stormtroopers walking around Tatooine, and you see a Trandoshan, like a Bosk-looking guy around there. But this looks amazing. These effects.
And the beauty of it that I was blown away by was the environment.
Yeah.
Like they were moving the location of the sun, which led to the shadows being created, which is ridiculous. And then creating sand, weather, wind.
Well, if there's objects, like they had a guy walking around, and you have an actor with nothing around him pretending to kick something in front of him.
Yes.
But you see what he's actually kicking.
He's actually kicking boxes.
Yeah, and they add like the physics behind that is just amazing. The math.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how it's done, but it's a
lot of logarithms and equations.
And ultimately, what it's going to lead to is it's going to lead to movies like Star Wars, Star Trek, or even Avatar.
Yeah.
He's planning on doing three or four more Avatars. Yeah. It's going to lead to those movies getting done quicker.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not going to take 3 years, 4 years for a CG movie.
Yeah.
Even a partial CG movie like that to be done. It's going to take literally months. Mm-hmm. Because it's almost as if you're shooting practically.
Yeah.
And then pack it for 3 months, and then editing for 3 months, and the movie comes out. I mean, it's really... I mean, obviously you knew we were going to get there eventually. I just did not think we were going to get there this soon.
Like, it's crazy.
I mean,
just imagine when consumers will be able to do this.
Yeah.
Just regular guys like,
man.
Or independent filmmakers will be able to do this.
Which is probably 10 years from now.
Yeah.
I mean, jeez.
We'll be able to make Avatar movies in our bedrooms.
I know. It's really phenomenal. If you guys can search... didn't you tweet it out, you said, or no?
I didn't tweet it.
Okay.
Texted you.
We'll get it out there on Inside the Force.
The future of movie making, guys.
It is unbelievable.
Yeah.
All right, so before we get into trivia, we'll go ahead and briefly tell you what's coming next month, the month of October. We are doing a partial mash with Popular Fanatics, another podcast on the 21 Network. We are talking, obviously we're talking about Star Wars, but here's what's going to go down. We are going to talk about something we haven't done yet on this show, but it's not going to be particularly on this show. On Popular Fanatics, we're going to guest on there, and we are going to talk about the movies.
Right.
And we're going to start off with episode 4 next week. Then we're going to talk about episode 5, then episode 6, and then the last week we're going to mash it all up and talk about the prequels.
Yeah.
So that's going to be on Popular Fanatics every Wednesday. You're going to get Chad and maybe Corey if he can make it, and then obviously me and Casey. We're going to talk about the Star Wars movies. Now on this show, we're going to dedicate it to the Clone Wars. Mm-hmm. So it's basically going to be Clone Wars month for us. We're going to highlight some characters from the Clone Wars. We're going to talk about our favorite episodes, stuff like that, in honor of both the episodes 1 through 6 being re-released as a DVD Blu-ray combo next month, as well as season 5 of the Clone Wars coming out next month and also I think they're coming out with a complete series combo pack, all 5 seasons. So we will talk about the Clone Wars on this show. Tune into Popular Fanatics and we're going to talk about, break down the movies, everything about the movies, and what we look forward to, obviously leading to episode 7. So, all right. Little trivia, and then the good thing about next month, we'll have some trivia. Oh, actually, those guys won't be on our show, probably.
Oh,
we may be, probably not.
This is our thing.
This is our, yeah. Okay, so trivia.
Okay, let's go.
We're still, I'm still a game behind, or a point behind you, 14-12. Casey's 15-11. And this week's question is number 947 out of Obsessed with Star Wars. 947, which is perfect timing. I think it's around the Revenge of the Sith era here, when Tyrannus gets killed. Oh, actually, it's the actual question from the main page here.
Oh, there you go.
I wonder if I should I need to read this, I think.
The entire thing is like a big old passage?
It is.
Dang.
Real quick. Okay, 947. During a meeting of the Jedi Council, Ki-Adi-Mundi brought up the plight of Kashyyyk, which was recently been overrun by the droid armies of the Confederacy. The lush forest world of Kashyyyk served as a pivotal planet in the Clone Wars. It was close to a major trade route. Master Yoda volunteered to oversee the Battle of Kashyyyk, stressing that he had good relations with the native Wookiees. Masters Quellen Vos and Luminari Uduli were heavily involved in initial defenses of the Wookiee planet Kashyyyk. The Wookiee who has escorted Yoda from Coruscant to Kashyyyk worked very closely with Master Vos and Uduli to set up initial defenses and allocate the Wookiees to different areas of defense. He served as direct liaison for Master Yoda and considered Yoda to be a member of his honored family. Who was this Wookiee?
Mm-hmm.
Chewbacca, Tarful, Ganta, or Urayo?
Okay, I have my answer. Is that A, B, C, D?
A, B, C, D. So a Wookiee. So it says, Master Yoda volunteered to oversee the Battle of Kashyyyk, stressing that he had good relations with the native Wookiees. Yeah. A Wookiee greeted him as he headed off-world toward Kashyyyk and the impending battle. So Jedi Masters Quellen Vos involved in events. This Wookiee, who had escorted Yoda from Coruscant to Kashyyyk, worked very closely with Masters Vos and Udoli to set up initial defenses and allocate the Wookiees to different areas of defense. He served as direct liaison for Master Yoda and considered Yoda to be a member of his honored family. Who was this Wookiee? Chewbacca, A, B, Tarful, C, Guanta, or D, Uray?
I want to go with Tarful.
Now, Tarful seems like the obvious answer.
Yeah.
Because, as illustrated in the picture,
yeah, he's there.
He's there with Chewbacca.
Yeah.
Now, it's the guy that took him to Kashyyyk,
yeah,
not the guy that's seeing him off at Kashyyyk.
Which I think is the same person.
The fact that I don't know any other of the other two Wookiees, I'm probably going to agree with you.
Okay.
But I have a feeling that it's one of these other guys. Okay. But I'm going to go with Tarful. I'm going to go Tarful as well. So that's B.
Yay! Yeah, because I was thinking, I'm pretty sure it's the same character.
Okay.
Because I remember the
Captain
scene where
Tarful, I think is his name, right?
Went with the Wookiee off into the ship. I thought I remember that.
All right.
Cool.
That's our show, episode 27. We are Inside the Force. Check us out at InsideTheForce.com for all our past shows. Like I said, next month, starting next week, we are going to be hitting up the Clone Wars in Clone Wars month, doing some profiling there, giving you some news. Part of the 21 Network, go to 21network.com, listen to all the latest podcasts, click on the banners, support the show, support the network. Some great deals on our websites. He is Casey Cooley at Kryptonian1138. Yeah. Casey Cooley?
Master Kenobi, you disappoint me. You're to hold you in such high esteem. Surely you can do better.
Not bad.
That's good. Because I love the way he says that line.
Yes.
His face, he has like a really nasty snore when he says it.
That's right. Darth Tyranus.
Yes.
All right, I am DCottingham21 on Twitter. Check us out there at Inside the Force. Tweet us. Check us out. Thanks for listening, everybody, and may the Force be with you.
This has been a production of the 21 Network, a collection of weekly podcasts. For more great podcasts, visit 21network.com. To view additional content, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/21network. Follow us on Twitter at 21network for the latest news and updates. The 21 Network, for the fan and all of us.